Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you. Jared is already in the house. He wants some snow sent down to DFW. He sent me 50 stars to make it happen. Tell you what, we'll take a look and see if DFW is going to get any of that white stuff. So thanks for joining me, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle. You come to the right place. You're at what is called AT's weather. And here it's hype-free, anxiety-free. Of course, we usually mean that when it's tornado season. But when it's winter storm season, I actually kind of get a little excited because I love the snow. I know some of you out there are like, boo, hiss, you know, you can take that to Canada. I get it. But listen, it's the southern boy in me. It's the Texas boy in me that just never got to see it much growing up. And you remember those things. You remember that pain, that hurt, that trauma of being robbed as a little kid of the white fluffy stuff. And you never let that go. And you carry it into your adult years, into your middle-aged adult years. So anyway. All right, so tell you what, I think I've tapped this enough to give more people to get in here. All right, so let's move on with what I know what you're here for, and that is that 4-letter word that we all love so much this time of the year. Elizabeth's in the house with 500 stars. She's not even messing around. I love you, girl. Appreciate that. Last night, you guys sent out a bunch of stars. If you'd like to play the stars game, it's at the bottom on Facebook. This is the Facebook main page, not the Patreon Facebook page. YouTube, you have something similar called a Super Chat. But on the Facebook, right there, make sure you type in your comments. There's a little star icon. You can click on that and shoot me a few this way if you'd like. Let's get on with it, shall we? All right, so let's just jump right into it. You know, that way, the folks that, you know, it's Friday night and you want to get your party on, you don't sit here and watch me all night long. We'll kind of wrap it up pretty quick for those folks that just want the quick and dirty. Those folks that want the real reason, the meat and potatoes, the how, the why, the what. Stick around, a few more minutes, we'll take care of that as well. And at the end of that, I'll answer your questions. So, all right, without further ado, let's take a look at the high-resolution model for our rain and snow development as we head into Saturday night. So this is Saturday evening. By the way, if you do give me stars, I'll give you a shout-out. So, Jared, I see you twice. That's 2 50s for you. And Joseph's in the house with 50 stars. Thank you, gentlemen. If you head into the 10 o'clock hour, do you see this little blue stuff on the map out here in northwest Oklahoma? It's up around Woodward and Panhandle. That is the good old 4-letter word. And you can notice as I go through time here, this is 1 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3, 4. Where's it all heading? It's heading east, expanding eastward. Here's 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday when you're getting up to get your morning coffee. It's snowing to beat the band here in Oklahoma City and points northward. Tulsa, you've got a rain-snow mix. Back out snow in Elk City, out toward Amarillo, traveling rain-snow mix likely in Lawton at that time. Daisy's in the house with 100 stars. Thank you, Daisy. All right, now as we head into the from the morning hours onward, here's 8, 9. You see where the snow is moving? That's southern Oklahoma, folks. And that purple area is the rain-snow mix. But boy, Shane's in the house. Okay, Shane, you outdid yourself again. What do I have to promise and give you for 3,000 stars? You're so ridiculous. Thanks, brother. So by 11 o'clock in the morning, you see the rain-snow line has moved through McAllister. It's now down to far southeast Oklahoma. I mean, you want to talk about a good snowstorm for the state? This is it. This doesn't happen that often, doesn't cover this many people usually, and covers many people at significant amounts. Let's see. So again, that's noon, 12 o'clock. So again, that's snow in eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas, southwest Missouri. Karen's in the house of 50 stars. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, next couple hours over, the snow starts to starts to let up and end here in central Oklahoma. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a few more flurries. Krista's in the house of 50 stars. She must like this snow forecast. The snow continues up McAllister, Muskogee. And look at this. LaFleur, Poteau. You guys are actually on the borderline of a little rain-snow mix down here, even in the far southeast Oklahoma. So that's a little bit of a change from last night's data. It's making just a little bit colder. Kim's in the house, 200 stars. Michelle's following her at 200 as well. Thank you, ladies. And then on into the 4 o'clock hour, it's gone. The snow has moved out of the state. So it's not a very long, prolonged event, but there's a lot of lift with this, which means a lot of amounts in a short period of time. So get ready for it. Ron's in the house with 100 stars. Thank you, sir. So let's take a look at temperatures and then snowfall amounts just to show you it's going to be cold. Of course, tomorrow will be in the 30s in the morning. As we head into the afternoon, we'll be rebounding into the 40s. So a chilly down Saturday, but dry. Phillips in the house with exactly 89 stars. I love these odd numbers. And then as you head on into Sunday morning, here is 7 o'clock. We've got 33 degrees here in Oklahoma City, 35 in Tulsa, below freezing. So the answer is, or the question to your answer is, you haven't asked me yet, but you're thinking, because I'm a mind reader. Rachel's in the house with 50 stars. Can it snow when temperatures are above freezing? And the answer is yes, it can. As a matter of fact, we get some of our best snows when our surface temperature is around 33 to 35 degrees, believe it or not, here in Oklahoma. Charles in the house at 50 stars. Thank you, my friend. Now, as we head into the afternoon, watch how these temperatures really don't change any. They just kind of moderate, the low 30s. They kind of hang around the freezing point. And then in southeast Oklahoma, they even cool down. Courtney's in the house at 50 stars. Thank you, Courtney. McAllister's 35 degrees during the afternoon. So, yes, that's cold enough for some snow, my friends in McAllister. And then into the evening hours at 6 o'clock, we start to cool back down. So, yes, technically we'll be above freezing likely in the afternoon by a degree or two. Will it melt the snow? Somewhat, but not all of it. There's going to be a ton of it out there. Mitch is in the house, 179 stars. And Shane is being dumb tonight, but I love him for it. He just dropped another 100. He dropped 1,000 stars. I almost said 100,000. That would be in nuts. Okay, I don't even know if you can do that many. All right, so let's go on to the snowfall amounts. All right, this is what I'm going to talk about when we talk about how much is going to fall from the sky versus what's going to melt. All right, that's going to be our caveat here, because remember, we have warm ground temperatures, and that is going to be a factor. Shane, another $1,000. I think your button's broken, brother. So if you look here at the snowfall totals, that's close to 5 inches in Oklahoma City. That's 4 to 5 inches right here in the heart of Oklahoma City. That is awesome. Abraham's in the house, 120 stars. Shane keeps hitting the 1,000 button. Northwest Oklahoma, guys, still get the most snow the models are trying to put out for some of the models, not all of them, but some of them. And then Eastern Oklahoma is a surprise. Now, one of the models had come around and went crazy in Eastern Oklahoma, but we discounted it because it's a model that typically gets a little carried away. Jamie's in the house with 50 stars. Thank you, Jamie. Rustin's just dropped 500 with the clapping hands. He's loving the snow. So the question is, can you actually get this much snow in Eastern Oklahoma? And I actually think that it's going to be mixed too much with rainfall, but the model is having a tough time deciding which way to go with it. And with it being a little warmer, I think more of that will melt. So yes, I think it'll snow out there in Eastern Oklahoma. I just don't think it's going to be 7 inches of snow like the model's trying to suggest. But I could easily see 2 to 3, no problem. There might even be some isolated 4-inch amounts here in Eastern Oklahoma. But that means, look how much of the state, I mean, look, this is ridiculous. Even Ardmore, some flurries or a light dusting down there, but this is the only spot not getting any measurable snow. We're right along the Red River down in southeast Oklahoma. Elizabeth back in with 500 stars. Thank you, Elizabeth. She got the Shane Duckworth fever, it looks like. It's awesome. It's a good fever to have. Okay, so that's your snowfall totals. I showed you the timing. Now, when you talk about the warm ground temperatures, all right, means how much of that snow sticks around as a melt. Well, we can look at the snow depth. So in other words, some of this will melt. Now, this model will get a little excited, a little carried away. Kristen's in the house with 200 stars. I see you, girl. So you can see how that 3 to 4 inches of snowfall here in central Oklahoma, maybe even approaching 5, gets cut in half to 2 inches. Now you're thinking, well, that stinks. Well, that's the way it goes. So, but while it's occurring and heavy, that's when you're going to be able to measure those best amounts. Then when the snow stops and things kind of dry out, look how the snow kind of diminishes and reduces and covers. Now, this isn't going to be the exact amounts of melting. This is just an idea of how the model, I just showed you how the amounts can dramatically change from the warm ground temperatures, and then some of the sun that'll come out in the afternoon and evening. So all that kind of helps to melt the snow, and in the actual air temperature still being a degree or two above freezing. So Again, there will be some melting, but we're going to have so much of it that won't be an issue. You're going to love it. Now, if you're traveling, you're going to have some problems on the roadways, of course. And I did not bring that up last night, but I'm going to do that here real quick, and then we're going to get into a few of the other model outputs of snow, and I'm also going to show you the reasons why things are looking so good. Aaron's in the house with 150 stars. Thank you, Aaron. So I'm going to my website, aarontutleweather.com. All right, that's where I'm going. If I go down to my data tab and I hit Oklahoma road conditions, I'm going to tap on this. All right, so you can pull this up at any time over the weekend. It'll show you the soil temperatures, which are into the 40s out there right now, and 50s in southeast Oklahoma. Again, that's one of the main reasons why you get a lot of melting. And those will cool from the snow a little bit, but obviously not before to keep it sticking around. But you can also see the Oklahoma road conditions that'll pop up on this map as well. And there'll be some cameras you can click on and actually see how the roads look from the truck drivers. And the same thing will happen here in Oklahoma City and Tulsa area. This map not loading now, but it was there just the other day on the traffic cameras for moving Oklahoma City. So keep that in mind. It's my website, aarontutleweather.com. You can track these road conditions real time at any time. All right, so now let's get going with it. First off, Melissa, I see you, Nelson. 200 stars. Thank you. We've got a winter weather advisory here from Ponca City to central Oklahoma back down to Altus. You got a winter storm watch in northwest Oklahoma. Honestly, I think this will be extended. In other words, this will be a winter storm watch. It just goes all the way into here, probably extends a little bit more to the east, and then a winter weather advisory for the rest of eastern and northeast Oklahoma. So this is just the early stages from the National Weather Service. They do this in rollouts. This is the first heads up. We're pretty far away from the event. As confidence builds, the models kind of congeal on better snowfall amount forecasts, then they'll fine-tune their county warning decision areas. Just so you kind of know how that works behind the scenes. Now, let's go to the hows, whys, and whats. Now, remember, I talked about it's all about the track, right? So this is the upper level low pressure system in the atmosphere. And this is perfect, guys. Seriously. This is the upper level low position. Now, if you want snow, especially heavy snow, you want to be in the track, kind of in this quadrant right here. All right, this is kind of where you want to be. This is a sweet spot in the 500 millibar pattern for snowfall, and that's moving right through central Oklahoma. And I'm loving it. I mean, puts a big smile on my face. Bridget, 95 stars. I see you. Amberly right behind her at 150. Girls are awesome. Move this then this will be for Sunday afternoon. The low position is still right here, so it's moving on through the southern half of the state. Again, that's perfect for heavy snow in the central part of the state. It even moves into southwestern Arkansas and southeastern Oklahoma, so even some snow lingering here into western Arkansas as the system starts to wrap up, and then it's moving on out of here. And then, believe it or not, you see this guy right here? Now, the track isn't ideal, perfect for us here in central Oklahoma. However, there's a lot of lift. All this color represents a ton of squeezing out of whatever moisture is in the atmosphere to be precipitation. Well, at this point in time, the model is indicating that it's going to be cold enough for snow out of that, which means we might get a little bit of a dusting of snow here on Tuesday to go on top of anything that lingers out there now. This is just the early stages of this, and the models are kind of borderline. Once they cool this column down, it should be borderline snow, but right now the model's going freezing rain drizzle. But it looks like it'll be light snow, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. That's on Tuesday, but just want to throw that out there for you. Might get a little fun, another storm system that comes in real quick, but it's not positioned well like this one going through on Sunday, so just don't want to freak out or anything. Okay, now let's do the 700 millibar track. I'm going to show you the lift associated with that as well. Remember, the lift in the bright colors, the more you have, the better off you're going to be. So this is Sunday morning. A ton of lift up here into, of course, northwest Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. And look right here in central Oklahoma. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of lift. I'm digging that. Keep that going, right? And was it going to the next hour? See, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Look at all that stuff. Go into noontime, still plenty of lift. Even eastern Oklahoma, that's a ton of lift. And then in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, still lots of lift. If you notice here, there's a little circle here. This is 700 millibars. I'm going to go look at a different chart, but I'm going to show you why that's important here in 2 seconds. But that lift kind of continues on to the evening hours into Arkansas. So you're going to run out of cold air out here, but you're still going to get plenty of rain, and you still will get a mixture of rain and snow into the maps. Into the northwest part of the state. I was looking down, I saw Jody's comment into the maps, and my brain saw maps. My brain said maps. I swear, I tell her all the time, I can't function or think when she's talking. My brain literally disengages from the rest of the world, focuses to every single word she says. Therefore, I can't function as a human being. I get irritated by that, but I think that's a good thing. Because it means I'm listening, sweetie. Okay, let's see. Let's go. That's a little relationship stuff on the side there. All right, let's go to 700 millibar wind. That's what I want to do. I want to show where that low is. All right. So here is. Let's go. Yeah, there's. Okay, we'll do this. I'm just going to leave the lows on the map as I go through time, so we can track where it goes. So there's one there. Let's see. The low's right about here. And it will differ as it kind of organizes, because it'll bounce around. It's never a solid, crazy track that just doesn't jitter. And let's see, now's where it really closes off into a circle here, so it gets stronger at that point. And then we go one more, and what's left of it is now it's gone, but it's kind of over in this area. So it falls apart once it gets into eastern Oklahoma. Now, what is the significance of this? Because your heaviest snow typically falls, not always, but typically, near the track of the 700 millibar low. So that puts it northwest Oklahoma through central Oklahoma. Now, when it gets down here, it's going to run out of the cold air. So this is where it's not going to adhere to that rule in southeast Oklahoma or in Arkansas. It won't adhere to the rule there because it runs out of the cold enough temperatures in the profile to support it. But definitely here in central and in this squadron of the state. That's the sweet spot for the heaviest snows. You will still get some decent snows in Tulsa. Just as far as the pick of the litter, it's going to be a little bit more out of the west. Shane's back again with 100 stars. I see you, sir. Okay, so that takes a look at the hows and whys as to what's happening. So now, let's take a look at some model ideas as to comparisons of what's out there. So this is the model I just showed you a minute ago, which is our high-resolution short-term. We have a few variants of that, and they all kind of say the same thing. Widespread, 2 to 5 inches of snow. There'll be pockets of just, some lucky folks, and some they go, hey, you know what, I'll take it. It was enough for me without getting too crazy. Shane's doubling down the other 100. There's another model. Now, this is the NAM model that gets stupid crazy, so we throw this one out in the wintertime. It's rarely verified, just let you know. Now, its cousin here, the high resolution of that model, is a little better, but it still gets a little carried away in eastern Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, as we mentioned. I think there'll be too much rainfall mixed in for those numbers to verify. And then here is the Canadian model, which ironically is going along with the NAM model, which is interesting because that's usually doesn't happen. So I'm going to have to watch this trend, because you normally throw out the NAM in this kind of a situation. But if the Canadian's going, no, actually I like the NAM, and I think I want to do what the NAM's doing, that makes me second guess stuff. But that's a ways away. So we'll see what happens with that. But needless to say, at least some good snows here in central northwest Oklahoma. That's not a problem. It's going to be this question mark out here in eastern Oklahoma. We're going to have to look at more deeply, and with the data being temperature data in the profile being a little less ideal in that area as it looks right now. It's too close to call as far as like a done deal of several inches like it is already here in central and western. That's an easier call. This eastern Oklahoma isn't going to be as easy on that. I will take a look though just real quick, because this model just came in when I started the show, so I didn't have a chance to really pick it apart. So we'll do this on the fly here real quick. So Sunday, okay, so there's Sunday morning, and then here's Sunday afternoon at lunchtime. So there's the NAM there, and there's a Canadian, very similar. All right, this is the 700 millibar lift pattern. Let's see. So there's the Canadian there, and the NAM. That's the good news. They are like lockstep and barrel. They are the exact same model output. This is crazy. I mean, they actually have the same look dynamically. So I think they even have the exact same track of the storm too. We're gonna go back one. I want to see the noon position. So noon position there and there. Yeah, it's almost the exact same. And we'll go one more over. I'm loving this Canadian. I love Canadians. Michaela's in the house of 50 stars. I see you, Michaela. All right, so look, that's just more good news. By the way, if you're following it at home, what does this mean, Aaron? Break it down for me. Like I'm 8, Steve Carell says, or whatever. Says, what does he say? He goes, talk to me like I'm 5 or something. I don't know. But yeah, so it's just good news. Okay, so let's move on here. So I haven't talked about the European model. The European model has always been the go-to when it comes to snow events and either winter storm, ice events and stuff, because it usually has the first idea what's really going to happen. Last time around for the last snow system for Oklahoma, it nailed where it was going to be the whole time in northwest Oklahoma for the heavy stuff, with it trailing off as it got into central Oklahoma. It never wavered, so it was on the money. This time around, we're going to take a look at how confident it is. We talked about this last night. This is some cool stuff. You don't get to see this often. I like to pull out some of these extra maps for you when we have something fun like this to look at. And I'm almost done, actually. So if you want to hang around a few more minutes, we're going to be wrapped up. So the model snowfall over 1 inch probability. In other words, confidence level, 100%. See that dark red? That's the 95 to 100 percentile range. That's all the way through in the western to central Oklahoma. So model says 1 inch of snow is not even a question mark. And that continues all the way here to eastern Oklahoma. So it's good for 1 inch of snow, even a dusting out in southeast. But the over 3 inches, confidence level drops to about, let's see, what is that? 80%, close to 90% here in the metro, and stretches out to northwest Oklahoma. So remember the track of the low? Remember the 700 millibar low? I kind of had it like in this position. So that kind of jives with the European model, even though they're different models, and I didn't check the track of the low on this one, but they kind of gives you the idea. So the confidence level over 3 inches of snow is pretty good. You know what? I'll take it. Now, when we look at when they blend all the models together, the ensembles for the European, this is actually a pretty decent forecast, and I like this one. Like I said, the question mark is this guy here. That's the question mark as to whether or not how much of this gets to be snow or more of a rain mix. All right, we'll have to deal with that tomorrow in the forecast. But it's got widespread 4 to 5 inches here in central Oklahoma, and that extends up north and west. A good solid corridor. Yes, Tulsa's got you about 2 to 3. Again, snowfall forecasts are always fun. They're never exactly perfect, but it gives us an idea. Now, if we look at the ensemble mean for the snowfall when we add in next Tuesday, this is addition to that. In other words, these aren't an additional new 8 inches of snow. This just adds to that prior map. So the prior map was 5 inches in northwest Oklahoma. Now it's 8. So that means 3 inches of snow will fall on Tuesday in northwest Oklahoma, according to the European model. And we have 4 to 5 here in central Oklahoma. Sunday, that goes to 5 to 6. So about an inch, maybe 1.5 inches of snow here in central Oklahoma on Tuesday of next week. All right, so there you go. Now, if you take a look at the number of ensemble runs in this one European model, they nudge it 50 different times, different directions, it gets dumb, and dumb in a good way. There is not a single member that says no snow. They all say snow. The lowest they say is 2 inches. The highest they go is 10 inches. And there's a lot of them that say 10 inches. So what I'm telling you is, with that track that we're seeing, it's setting up, this whole thing is setting up so perfect, good heavy snow, is tomorrow we may come in and check in with me, and these numbers may be higher, like officially higher, melting or no melting. I mean, I'm being conservative with the 4 inches here, 5 inches maybe in central Oklahoma, but we may have to up it quite a bit. I mean, you're like 6 inches eventually. It's got mostly 4 though for this first wave. And then adds on another, looks like 2 for that extended wave from Tuesday is how they calculates that. This is at the bottom. So in the first wave from Sunday to Monday, we go from 1 to 4 inches. In other words, the accumulation during the day. So it stops the average mean at 4, and then we bump the average mean to 6 once we throw in Tuesday snow. So a couple inches there. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited about it. Okay, so this model was not in at the time I looked. This is the German model. And you're going, Germans? Why you got to go to Germany to look at Oklahoma weather, right? It's just another model. I just like to look at it during the wintertime. It says absolutely the exact same as all the other ones, so it's not bad. It also indicates a lot more rain-snow mix. There we go. Finally getting a model that goes with my thinking. More rain-snow mix here in southeast Oklahoma and into the Arkansas area, which would really limit those snowfall totals that those other couple of models got a little too aggressive for. And that's a huge thing, and that would make sense. That's typically the outcome So we'll see. And then when you factor in the melting with this particular snow event, it goes to 2 to 3 inches here. So remember the other model I showed you with the melting taken into account? We went down from 4 to 5 to 2 to 3. So it looks like this one's kind of doing the same thing, kind of in a widespread area. All right. So far, nothing surprising me. We're on good track. Shane's throwing in more stars. I see. He's got 100, 100, 100. He's just going to keep hitting the 100 button. Let's see. Let's take a look here. What? Oh, it's not going to go out far enough. So I was hoping this. I was hoping that this ensemble blend of models here would show up, but it's not going to tell me anything new. We do look at our high-res group of models that are short-term and the clustering, and they've gone up since last night. Last night they were around 2 inches. Now they're clustering up around 3 on average. So that's an average line of 3 inches of snow here in Oklahoma City, with as many of them coming up to the 4 to 6 inch range. There's several groupings there, and of course you have some outliers up here into the 8 to 10. And this reminds me, I'm going to show you the vertical profile of this, of why we're seeing all this. So I'm going to turn that off, turn this off. Okay, to give you an idea what we're looking at, this is a vertical profile of the atmosphere. This is over Oklahoma City. This starts from 12Z to 0Z, right to left, so it's a little backwards in your timeline. But basically it means that the precipitation starts here at 6 a.m. and there's really nothing left by 6 p.m. So all the action is in between. What you see on this map, all this green, purple, red, is all saturation. In other words, a lot of relative humidity. In other words, plenty of moisture to work with. So what else do we have to work with? Well, we can turn on the omega, which is the lift in the atmosphere. The lift is indicated by all these little red contour lines, like these little circles. See all these circles right here, which means the indication of our best lift here in Oklahoma City. The bullseye time frame where it's just going to be snowing so heavy, you're going to be like, I love it, I love it. You're going to run out there and go, it's a blizzard outside. That's going to be around the 11 a.m. hour to noon. That's when we have the most lift according to the model. Now, the question is that lift juxtaposed with what we want to see, which is a snow growth layer. So I just toggle this on. See there's? Bam, just toggle snow growth layer on, which is this little line, group of lines go like this. So I'll outline that for you in, we'll pick this color. Oh, that's a terrible color. All right, we'll pick blue. We'll just go like this. All right. So there's your snow growth zone overlaid by your omega, and this is perfect. So this is why we're getting so much snow. And when you factor it up on this particular model, it's got 3.5 inches of snow here in central Oklahoma. So even though it doesn't snow a very long period of time, it snows heavy enough because of all the parameters here to make it count. And that's what you want, right? You want the best result for the least amount of input. So here's a look at the National Weather Service forecast for snow, by the way. Just want to throw this out there for you so you see it. They're being very conservative here in central Oklahoma. Inch of snow here, well past Norman, down toward maybe Paul's Valley-ish. That's more down this direction. But back up to 2 to 3 here in Oklahoma City. And then you got 3 to 4 in northern Oklahoma and 4 to 6 northwest Oklahoma. Now, what do I think they'll do? I think they'll bump everything up just a little bit. And they'll bring the higher, heavier amounts, something like this, in this area. And then, of course, Tulsa's not on here, but there'll be plenty of snow up here in Tulsa, too. So we'll see how they adjust with the new data coming in tonight and tomorrow. Long-term temperatures. You ready for this? I don't know if you're ready, but we're going to do it anyway. So this is a look at all the way down the road to Christmas. So if you're curious about how Christmas looks, here's December 24th, 25th. That's just one model that goes out this far, but it does show us seasonable temperatures into the 40s to 50s for both days, and overnight lows not nearly as cold. The big cold stuff will be in the short term, and actually I'm going to switch model sites for that. I think I like the European better on model temperatures. Where is it? Show it to me. Give it to me. Right here. So we've got 30 in the 30s from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because that secondary system comes in. So we really only get a chance to warm up, and we still have plenty of snow on the ground. Because remember, the Europeans going for lots of snow. So that means going to be cold. Now, do you see on this map, do you see this little number down here? 16 degrees Monday morning. That's bone-chilling cold. Now, in the old days, we'd say that's pipe-bursting weather. But you have to be down around, I think it's below 17 degrees for an extended period of time. I think it's like 24 hours before pipes start to burst, just so you know. So don't freak out and say pipe bursting where they're all over the place. It's going to be cold. Maybe a couple of them will, have an effect, but it won't be a widespread thing. But just let you know, it's going to be bone cold on Monday morning. And again, looks like Thursday morning. So some very chilly mornings ahead if you believe the European model output, which is, good as any at this point in time. Dealing with this scenario. And I did not look at the latest European snow, so we're going to do that together. Would you like to do that together? I think you'd like to do it together. So let me do this. Okay. All right, so here is the latest. I'm going to blow it up. Let's see, what time is that? Monday? Okay, let's do this. Blow it up for you a little bit. Oh, it cuts off the edge on that picture. Let me do this for you. Hold on. Does that help? Yeah, that helps. Okay. So this cuts up just on the border of Oklahoma, which is right here in Kansas. That's just the way this image cuts off. But it has a bullseye here of 5 inches in central Oklahoma with the pockets of purple in here, which is up to 6. So it's loving central Oklahoma. It is loving Oklahoma City for heavy snow. Secondary area it loves is northwest Oklahoma, where the usual fun is. And you notice it doesn't fall prey to the overproduction of snow here in eastern Oklahoma. It drops it off because it's got more rain mixed in. So I like this scenario as well. So I'm really digging the European outlook from what I'm seeing here. Charlotte's in the house with 100 stars. So there you go. Okay. Well, that was a lot to talk about in, 30 minutes. But it's fun. I enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. I learn a lot. You learn a lot. We all become one big happy family, et cetera, et cetera. All right. I'm going to peruse a couple of comments. Oh, my goodness. You guys on YouTube are going nuts. There's a lot of comments on here. Let me just scan through real quick. Will it be falling snow or blowing snow? It's going to be so much snow you won't care. It's going to be, anytime you get those, you get a little bit of wind with it, but mostly, of course, the big focus is going to be the heavy snow that comes down. I will take a look real quick at the estimated wind speeds because I didn't look at that earlier. Let's see, 10 mile per hour wind. Nah, it's lame. Yeah, let's see. Sunday, gusts up to about 20 in western and southwestern Oklahoma, about 15 miles per hour here in central Oklahoma. So it's not a big windy day. So there won't be what they call a blizzard criteria. It's just going to be a heavy snow. But it's a good question. Okay, where are we, by the way? Let's see. Jim, I missed you last night on YouTube. You didn't get notification. Do you think school closures are possible? First off, is there any schools still having in-person schooling? That's a shock to me. COVID and all. All right, Ashley's in the house of 50 stars. Thank you, Ashley. And 100 from earlier. You double dipped. You double dipped the chip. That's okay here. You can do that here. But just not at parties. Will South Central Oklahoma be included in the winter storm watch? Kale, no, they will not. You might get a winter weather advisory, which just indicates some winter precipitation down there, but your amount's going to be very light compared to central northern Oklahoma. So, a couple inches at most down there. And probably, I don't know how far down south you live, but the more south you go down toward Ardmore, it ends up being just a dusting to maybe an inch kind of a deal. You can't get too far south or you run out of it. For you guys on Periscope, Twitter, I'm just now loading up the feed. So if you have, will it snow at my house at 8:01 p.m.? I love it. So I'm just now loading up the feed here. And then if you guys have a question, you can shoot it my way real quick because I usually don't have time to answer while I'm doing my deal here. Okay, I'm going to my patrons, load that up, and the main Facebook page. Bear with me. Let's see, patrons. COVID. So there we go. Okay, Denise, howdy. Adrian's in the house. Larry, what's up? Paula, do I need to dig out my snow boots? Yes, you do. Get after it, girl. Mary's in the house. Patty's here. Mary's doesn't want any more snow. She's had enough of it in Nebraska. Wes, Canada loves snow. We must leave it up there so Jody will not be upset. That's right. She's so nice. She's gonna send some down here. Just share the love with the rest of us. Karen's in the house. Good to see you. Scott and Bethany, gotcha. Dariah. He wants me to make a snow angel. You know what? If I get a lot of snow here in the house, maybe I will. Maybe I'll just do that. Larry, what hoodie is that? This is from my gym, 4-Star Fitness. So they have hoodies out now, so I picked one up. It is pretty warm. You're welcome, Karen. Okay, let me go to the main page. Other advisory, we just indicate some wind. All right, now keep in mind all your comments that were beyond about 30 comments above. I can't see them, so if you had a question, you're gonna have to re-ask it. So Anita wants 10 inches of snow. I'll see what I can do. Kim, how much for Enid? Yep, at least 4 inches. Yep, that's probably about what you'll get. Jessica's upset because she has to work all day. She does not get to have fun in the snow, so she's being a Debbie Downer. By the way, who was the first Debbie Downer? That's what I want to know. It's, you know how we say these things, and most of the time we pick them up from our parents, who picked them up from their parents. Who was the first person? Who was the first Debbie? Was the Downer? Inquiring minds want to know. And then, you fast forward, who knows how long that's been going on. Let's just say it's been going on for 100 years. Now let's go on to today's Debbie, and that would be Karen. Who was the first Karen? So, I don't know. Now, it could just be because of a joke, on a TV show that I'm not privy to. And that's probably how it started. But anyways, those things are always just funny to think about because you'll catch yourself saying them and you really have no idea what you're talking about. Let's see. What else we got? Nate's late to the party. That's a shame. What about road conditions during the snow on Sunday? Sarah, they should deteriorate during the heavy part of the snow, but they'll melt on the roadways given enough time with the warm ground temperatures. CM says Tuttle is still in school. One of the rare Mustang as well, because I just heard Piedmont was being closed because there was some cases that had gone up for like the next couple of weeks. They're going to be closed. Let's see. When does the snow start Ponca City? It'll be by daybreak when you wake up. Let's see. What else we got? So it sounds like quite a bit of schools still doing traditional I don't even know what tradition, you can't even say the word traditional is. I don't even know what traditional or what normal means anymore. They've lost all meaning to me. So, matter of fact, the days of the week have lost all meaning to me. This brings me joy. It gets me back to sanity. That's why I'm here. This is really more for me than it is for you. This is a therapy session. You just weren't aware of that. You're all my counselor. Collective counselor. Okay, so Ashley wants to know, Tulsa, yes, to your question. Jamie. But yeah, you're going to get a couple inches up there for sure in northeast Oklahoma. So 2 to 3 is not out of the question. That's probably expected. So Kelsey wants to know how much will Mustang get. And you're looking probably about 4 inches, maybe 5. Now again, remember an inch or so of that may melt rather quickly. So the final amount can be tough to measure, but at least that's kind of the potential you're going to get from the sky. Will road conditions be bad? Rhonda wants to know. Remember to check my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com. Go to the data tab and look at the road conditions, and you can get them in real time during the day to check it out. Because again, at some point in the day they'll probably be a little rough, but in other parts of the day they're going to be fine. So just know that. And the worst part of the day is probably in the middle of the day, lunchtime-ish, when it's coming down the hardest, and then they'll be better in the afternoon. And they're probably mostly okay in the very early morning hours, very early. But probably from mid to late morning is when they'll be a little slippery, and then, pretty bad around the lunchtime. Anything south, Pauls Valley, Sulphur, yes, Kelly, probably at least about an inch to 2 down there. Let's see. But again, some of that will melt, so you may end up with just an inch by the time, say if you get 2, 1 inch of it, and 1 inch melts. That's the way it is. But hey, at least you get something. Beth says nothing in Norman. She's going on her forecast. She's got the Norman bubble. So, all right. Oh, Jessica, where did the terms come from? She just linked word genius. I have never seen that. Where the term Debbie Downer originate? Now, of course, who can actually verify this information? I could write a blog that says Debbie Downer originated from so and so, and I'm the one that found out. And everybody would be like, okay. Because if it's on the internet, it's true. So it was brought back up by a TV show. Look at that. TV Glory, Rachel Dratch on Saturday Night Live. Okay. So I figured it was a TV expression, even the Karen thing, but obviously even the Debbie Downer. But it goes back to 1886. Was the adopted Downer term. Now how it got thrown in there with Debbie. I don't know. I guess it was Saturday Night Live. It probably went on long back before then. All right, Shane, I see you. Your anniversary is tomorrow. Oh, yeah, you need to get the heck off of here. You need to go take care of business. All right, let me see here. Any more of you guys on Patreon? Wes, by the way, I did see your comment earlier today, but I wanted to let you know it's not what you think about that post earlier today. Had actually nothing to do with that. And it's some insider stuff you have to do on Facebook as a content creator. I'll leave it at that. But it has nothing to do with what you would think it'd be on paper. Patrick, Debbie Downer started with a skit on the SNL. So there you go. So I've read a couple of the things that claim it was Saturday Night Live. Was it before then? I don't know. I'll just have to take the internet for its word. All right, so I think we've covered all the... somebody wants to know... Okay, now we're getting snowfall questions. I'll tell you what. So, what about my house? What about my house? And what about my house? What about my cousin's house? What about my mom's house? So let's just go back to that one map, and we're just going to put it all out there. Does that sound good? Sounds good. All right, so where are we? It was this guy here. All right, and then let's do this. There, that's a little bit bigger for you. Okay, this is I-35, runs north and south. This is I-40, runs east and west. So out here in western Oklahoma. Clinton, Elk City, you're looking at 4 inches or so. Again, it's just one model. Now notice how this one model has a drop-off here between bands. Now that may not even pan out, so don't just get the overall big picture. Don't look at specific mesoscale bands, because those will be impossible for the model to nail down at this point. But this kind of goes to show you there will be some mesoscale bands, and those are the ones that produce the higher amounts. That's the up to 5 inches here in central Oklahoma, including Metro. And again, discount this eastern Oklahoma part. I think more rain will be mixed in, so lesser snow, but yes, there will be some snow. Tulsa, there's your 3.5. Bartlesville, there's 3. So 2 to 3 here in northeast Oklahoma. It does drop off, though, a little bit by the time you get to the border, so dusting up there maybe an inch. By the way, Sean, I see you with 150 stars. Thank you for the love, literally. And then Enid, there's 5 inches there. Some asked me earlier about Enid, so I said at least 4. Northwest Oklahoma, some of the models like a little bit higher amounts, closer to 6, and some of the models actually had, in this area here, had kind of favored this area for a, I keep messing up my drawing, this area here for the 5 to 6 range for snow, all in this area. So that's basically the northwestern quadrant of the state being the best hit, but other models had also favored this area, especially the Euro. The Euro really favored central Oklahoma, even back out here to the southwest a little bit more. So if that be the case, then that's some really good snow for Oklahoma City. So if you guys down here in Pauls Valley area, Paoli down here, so you're kind of in the blue area, which is about 3 inches of snow. It drops off to 2 south of there, then to 1 before you even get to Ardmore. So it's about a dusting by the time you get to Ardmore. So that's how quickly that'll drop off down I-35. McAllister looks good. Probably about at least 3 inches of snow, maybe 4. Again, depends on how much rain mixes in. But at least you're going to get some snow down here. Again, some flurries, wet flakes at least mixed in down here in far southeast Oklahoma. And Poteau area, and maybe even northern LaFleur County, which is pretty impressive. All right. I believe that should answer most of your questions. They're Southwest Oklahoma. They got the snow. And again, everything in a blue, a light blue shading, is about 1 to 3 inches. All in this kind of an aqua turquoise color. So all this stuff in here. This is all 1 to 3 on the south end, out west, and then up here northeast, 1 to 3. Everything in the darker blue is 3 plus. Once you get to the white, you're looking at around 4 to 5. Once you get to the purple, you're looking at 6 or more. All right. So again, discredit this part out here, but the rest of it looks pretty good to me. Sean Love's back in the house on the 250 stars. I got to thank all of you guys and gals that did the stars game tonight. I really appreciate that. It's always good when a creator gets supported by his followers and fans and those that respect what the work that they put in. So it's very good feeling. It's like a warm fuzzy, if that term is still being used these day and age. Amy's in the house with 100 stars. Thank you, Amy. Okay, let me see. I'm going to, while you guys are talking amongst yourself in the next few minutes, Dina's in the house with 50 stars. It's almost 10 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap this up. I got a date with the Canadian model. You know what I'm talking about. And so, I'm going to have to get moving. But speaking of models, I was going to look one more time at this one page, see if it updated. And it did, but it's too slow. It's late to the party. Doesn't do me any good being this late. All right, and there's really nothing else to add or look at, so I think I'm done. Okay, look, I've taken up enough of your time tonight. For those of you folks that have entertained the entire almost nearly 1 hour broadcast, I appreciate it. Hope it was educational. You learned something. And it was something positive in a world filled of just vomit. And I really do mean that. I open up my door, I look out there, it's vomit. I turn on the TV, it's vomit. I open up social media, it's vomit. I'm so sick of vomit. So it's nice to have weather as a distraction, wouldn't you say? So anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow. I'll be doing an update for you. I don't know if I'll do live during like a lunchtime, during the middle of the day. I might just do a quick post. But we'll see, and then more than likely I will do a live tomorrow evening after the 9 o'clock model data comes in. So same bat channel, same bat time, etc., etc. And we'll talk and see what the latest data suggests that we're all going to end up with. I don't expect any major significant changes, other than we'll see if the European is leading the and the Canadian are kind of leading the higher amounts trend. Each run they've gone up just a little bit. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind at all. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching, and we'll do this again tomorrow. So I'll see you then. And thanks again for all the stars tonight. See you guys.